Hey YouTube, this is Ben Potter, and I'm excited today to show you the new pedal board that I have. For those of you that have been following my channel, you know that I've been using the POD HD500X as kind of my main tone generator, and about a year ago I posted a video just kind of demonstrating how I set my patches up. And back in December, I uploaded a video of how, with the pod and some individual stomp boxes, and just kind of showing how the pod responds compared to similar to an amp when running individual stomp boxes into it. And for a while, I've been wanting to create a pedal board that would hold both the pod and some of my stomp boxes, and finally, I have one. So when creating a pedal board on your own, not going out and buying one, to me, kind of the biggest problem to solve is how am I going to transport it. So what I did is I went on Guitar Center and Musician's Friend and stuff on their websites and kind of started hunting around and looking at their keyboard bags, and I found this one over here by a company called Cases. You can kind of see the logo there. And the interior dimensions of it are 34.5 inches wide by 12.5 inches deep. And so I kind of mapped that out on the floor to see if it would fit for what I wanted to put on it, and saw that it would. And so I went ahead and ordered it. It was like $47, so not bad. And then I was able to get this pedal board built. And so I've already demoed a lot of these pedals, kind of showed some of these pedals in some of my other videos. So I'm going to just kind of walk you through what's on my board, and then I'll play a little bit at the end just to kind of show you some stuff. But mostly just want to kind of show what's on here. So the signal chain starts over here with the Ernie Ball VP Junior. We've all seen it, know it, love it. So that's where my chain starts. From there, I go into this DoD compressor sustainer. And from there, I go into the MXR micro amp, which is just a volume boost pedal, and I put that in front of my drive pedals so that when I engage it, I get not only a little bit of an increase in volume, but I also get some increase in drive. If you put a drive pedal after your distortion pedals, then you're just going to get an increase in overall volume. And I actually have a setting on my pod that is a boost after my drives, after my amp model and everything, so I can, if I want just a volume boost, I've got a button, a foot switch on my pod I can push to get that. If I want a volume and kind of a gain boost, then I can use the micro amp. So from the micro amp, I come down here to the Electro Harmonics Soul Food, and then into this, it's the OD Overdrive by Shelly Guitars. And it is a boutique overdrive handmade in Orange City, Florida. And if you are looking for a boutique overdrive pedal that doesn't break the bank, seriously check this out. There's some great demonstration videos of it on YouTube by guitar players a lot better than I am. $100, 3 different clipping modes, 3 different EQ voicings, and then your standard volume, tone, and gain on the pedal itself. Great pedal. It's got a little bit of a mid boost to it, but it's definitely kind of, I think it's more transparent than like a Tube Screamer or something like that would be. It kind of really lets, the sound of your guitar sing through. So great overdrive pedal. Really encourage you to check that out. From there, I go up here to my Boss SD1, and I have the drive on that kind of turned up a little bit higher than I would normally would. I don't usually use a lot of overdrive, but the one spot that's powering these 5 pedals here has 5 spots on it, so I figured it'd be a shame if I had space on my board for a 5th pedal and I could power 5 pedals to not put 5 pedals there. So for right now, the SD1 is there. I have it kind of set up to a higher gain setting so that if I want more gain and I don't want to stack I don't want to stack like the Soul Food and the OD together to get it, I can just kick on the SD1. It may get replaced somewhere down the line, but for right now, that's its home. So from there, I go over to my POD HD500. So for those of you that have seen my other video, how my patches are laid out, the bottom row of pedals down here is still what they were on the last video. I've got a dotted eighth delay, I've got an eighth delay, This isn't doing anything right now, and this here switches between a spring reverb and a octoverb. Up here, this switch here is still controlling the volume boost that I was talking about earlier. So when it's on, I'm basically running at 70% volume. When it's off, I'm running at 100% volume. So I can kind of get a 30% volume increase by just kicking that switch off, and that's placed after my amp and everything, so it's just a volume boost. It's not going to change the characteristic of my tone at all. The first three switches, though, are a little bit different because before I had a compressor here, and then I had two different overdrives right here for when I was just using the pod for my tone. Now that I have these other pedals in front of it, and I've got a compressor and three overdrives going into my pod, I don't need the pod to do those sounds for me. So actually, I have a phaser and a tremolo right here, two different modulation effects, and then here I'm just actually running a noise gate. I don't have it attached to the foot switch, but it's third in my chain between the modulation effects and my amp. So, and then I'm actually coming out of, if you see this second little guy down here, is the pedal 2 jack for the pod, and that is actually feeding all the way down here to this T1M mini fixed expression pedal. And I don't think, yeah, it's too dark, you can't get the T1M there underneath the pedal, but it says T1M on the side of the pedal. And basically what that does is you can plug it into any pedal that takes an expression pedal, and it will, as a foot switch, basically switch between your heel position setting and your toe position setting that you have assigned to the expression pedal. And I'm actually going to do a whole nother video talking just about this pedal and some applications that you can use it for, and how to set up your pod to get it to work with it. So if that's something that you're interested in, be looking for that video on my channel. So in my video before where I talked about my settings, I talked about how I had the expression pedal here, and how when it was on the green setting, or expression pedal 2, it was controlling the amount of volume and overdrive from the amp. So when it was all the way up, it was a clean amp sound, and when I brought the expression pedal down, the drive on the amp was turned up, the volume was turned back so I could keep a unity volume, and I was just getting a more driven sound from the amp. And then when I pushed the expression pedal all the way up and pushed the little button underneath so that it switched to the red setting, or expression pedal 1, then it was controlling the wetness level of my reverb. Now that I have the mini fixed expression pedal plugged into the pedal 2 jack, you see that both lights are lit for expression 1 and expression 2. The expression pedal here is controlling the wetness of my reverb still. I've actually flipped it, so when it's at the bottom, it's just a light reverb, and when it's at the top, it's more of a wet reverb sound. And then the mini fixed expression pedal is controlling the volume and the gain of my amp. So when the expression pedal, or when the light there is off, I'm running a clean amp sound, and then when I push the pedal on, it changes my amp settings to a dirty sound. And actually, I can show that to you if I come over here. So there is my clean amp setting, and when I push the button, notice the knobs turn to, the drive comes up, the volume comes down. So, I'm going to go ahead and put the camera down and just demonstrate a little bit for you. I'm not going to play a whole lot, but just give a little bit of a demonstration, and thank you for watching. Okay, so for this, I'm using my Squier Affinity Stratocaster, playing in through the rig that I just showed you. The amp model that I'm using is the Marshall Plexi Super Lead on the bright channel. So this is the clean tone. None of these pedals are engaged. I'm just running a clean tone straight through the pod. That's on the neck pickup. So if I kick in the micro amp, Okay, so notice it gets considerably louder, and we heard a little bit of gain increase. That was just pushing the amp model a little bit harder, creating a little bit more gain. So if I switch now down to the bridge pickup, and the OD. Here's the two together. So just the soul food. I'm going to go back to the neck pickup. Push that with the micro amp. Go back to the bridge pickup. Here's the with just the soul food. Boost it. Same thing with the OD. And I keep hitting the compressor when I kick on the micro amp. But volume off. Here is the SD1. And the finally the mini fixed expression pedal. So here is the clean tone from the amp, and then when I switch it to the more driven setting, I don't have it get a whole lot dirtier, just push it a little bit more. And then I can drive that dirty signal from the amp with something like the soul food. Okay, a couple other things I want to show you. One thing with the OD, is the texture knob that adjusts kind of the EQ voicings. There's a flat, a mid boost, and a low boost. And the low boost actually works really cool with a Stratocaster with the single coil pickup in the bridge, because that's kind of a very thin. So this is the flat setting. It's kind of usually where I keep the pedal. But if I switch the voicing switch over to the low hump, I get this sound. So I'll try and play, and switch between the two. Alright, so one last thing I want to show you is back to a clean sound on the neck pickup. Actually, I'm going to switch to the middle pickup. I'm going to put this up. That's going to increase the wetness of my reverb, or the amount of reverb. I'm going to add a dotted eighth delay. And now I'm going to bring in the compressor, so you're going to hear kind of the difference that the compressor makes. So you can see the compressor, as you pick quieter, the compressor brings up the volume. It kind of compensates for that, and it also provides a little bit more of an attack. So this is my new pedal board. I'm really excited about it. And like I said, if you're interested in the mini fixed expression pedal, be looking in the next couple days for a video on that, and how you can use that with your pod, or potentially even with other products, with other pedals that take an expression pedal, just to kind of make your life easier, help you get between settings a little bit faster. So thanks again. Have a great day. Bye.